here's why you should protect your vision. This is going to be building off of following your intuition, which is something that I very loosely spoke about in previous videos. So when it comes to your vision, I honestly believe each and every person will receive a certain vision just based off what they're naturally inclined towards. So for example, I was naturally drawn towards YouTube, gym, and a couple of other things. So I feel like each person will have their own set of things. And the funny thing is, when you have your own vision, it feels like everyone has that vision. But I'm not sure, that's just your mind just deceives you into thinking that way. I just think because that's all you really know, so it's just how it is. So back to the topic of how everyone has their vision. So when you receive a vision, you receive that because inherently you or your mind believes you can achieve that. And if your mind believes it, you can certainly achieve it. But then what happens is when you go and speak about your vision to anyone that's close to you or just anyone in general, I feel like what happens is your mind accepts that you've already achieved this vision and you receive a positive response in your brain. And then all that energy, motivation, or just that spark towards that vision is just stomped out, is burnt, is gone. And once that happens, you're not gonna go and pursue that vision. You're not gonna make any action towards it. So what I think you should do instead is when you receive that vision, don't even say a word about it. Just find out what is the fastest thing you can do to make any action to start on that vision. Once you started on that vision and you have been consistent with it to yourself and you know that you're actually taking action towards it, if you wish, you can speak about it to other people to let them know what you're up to. But I'm pretty sure if you start making action on it, they will find out in some way, shape, or form. If they, depending on what it is, they'll find out some way, shape, or form. If not, you can tell them. But then I'm gonna keep it real with you. When it comes to your visions or just your life in general, because everyone's got their own visions, everyone's got their own life going on. Even when you go speak to them about it, they ain't gonna be really as fast. The only person that cares as much about your visions is you and only you. And I think that's important to keep in mind because what that allows you to do is when you have a vision, you can just pursue it relentlessly and don't really seek that external validation for you to carry on pursuing your vision. Just lost my train of thought. But yeah, as I was saying, that positive reinforcement that you receive from that external, just give that to yourself. When you're consistent with your own vision for yourself, what you will find is that, for example, for me posting YouTube videos, this is something that I'm going to do once a week. Practically, that's just a bare minimum. And that's just me keeping true to myself. And as long as I'm consistent with that for myself, I'm happy with myself because I'm doing what I set out to do. And I don't really need to get any approval from anyone else outside of myself to prove that I'm doing what I need to do. And even if I go speak about it, doesn't really affect everyone else. This affects me. For example, when it comes to my vision, I know I'm going to be successful. That's just, it may sound egotistical. It can sound however it is, but I'm going to be successful. May that be in YouTube. I mean, not even may. I will be successful in YouTube. I will build a physique that I deem as a good physique. And in any other endeavor I go down in life, I will be successful. I feel like that's just my vision and that's how I feel about it. But I ain't gonna delve too far into my vision because, like I said, I'm not trying to let that spark or that ambition towards that just dissipate from external validation. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a vision that you want to get fit, right? Let's say you're either overweight or underweight. So what I would say is straight away, just sign up for a gym, get that membership, go into the mental plan of you go 4 days a week, 6 days a week, just whatever it is. I'd suggest you make it easy. Make the barrier to entry as low as possible. That way you can remain consistent with no problem. Don't set the bar so high that you can sustain it for a week and the next week you've just fallen off. For example, let's say you've never been to the gym before. Just start off with like 3 or 4 days a week and do that every single week. Like, just sign up to the gym, go 3 or 4 times a week. Like, there's plenty of content for you to find if you do want to do this. So you can just formulate something, but don't spend too much time in analysis, otherwise you're gonna end up doing nothing. Just commit to just the most basic thing. Just commit to the first thing you find. You can fine tune whatever you want down the line. This is turning to a rant about starting the gym. But okay, let's say you've been consistent in the gym now for 2 months. Now, you would have seen progress for yourself. You would be happy with yourself, the fact that you've been consistent and sticking to your word, and that ambition and motivation that you had to become fit will still be there. And at this point, you can go speak to your friends, your family, whoever you like, and tell them what you've been up to, and they'll be like, yeah, well done. But at this point, this is where you need to realize if you're doing it for yourself or if you're doing it for them. And ideally, you're doing it for yourself. That's what allows you to carry on pursuing that vision that you have for yourself. And I think that will give you some form of fulfillment, which you're not going to get by just speaking about your vision. You're only going to get by following it. So yeah, that's just the rant of the day, I guess. So you guys might see my face again this week, or definitely going to see it next week. I might shoot some gym content. I've just been very lazy with that, but you might see something. If you do, you do. If you want to subscribe. If not, you'll see my face anyway. But I'll catch you guys in my next one.